The royal family,
Yeah.
who love you, you
Yeah.
love them. Particularly, you had an amazing relationship with Her Majesty the Queen, the late great Queen. When did you first meet her? Do you remember?
Of course I did. I knew for over 30 years. Back in the days when I was in my early 20s, I used to write for a trainer called Ian Baldwin. And Ian Baldwin had most of the Queen's horses. And so that's how I met her. And, even 30 years that I met her, every time I met her, nervous wreck, she had this horror, but she always had the ability to make you feel good. So I'll tell you a funny story. I won a big race 15 years ago. And it was a Sunday, so after racing, I had a big party. It was a lovely spring day. And I left all the doors open. I had dogs. And 200 people turned up. We had an amazing party. And I woke up the next day, and the house was destroyed, full of bottles. And I realized I lost one of my dogs, but she had a tag. And it was a message on the answer machine, and the message said, "Hi, we found your dog. Please call us back on this number." And the lady who found the dog was Caroline Warren, the Queen racing manager's wife. So I rang Caroline and said, "Hi, Caroline, sorry, but I heard that you have my dog. Can I come and collect it?" And she said, "Listen, if you come this evening, the Queen's coming to Newmarket to see the horses in the morning. So you can say hi to the Queen and pick up the dog." I mean, great idea. So my wife's in the courtyard, she's cleaning the ponies, and I opened the window and said, "Honey, I found the dog." And she said, "Where is the dog?" "Oh, the Queen's got it." She said, "Don't be silly." "No, I swear the Queen's got it. I'm going to pick it up tonight." So my daughter got all dressed up. We went to get the dog. And then she was having a gin and tonic next to the fire. And I had a gin and tonic with her, and she spent 20 minutes talking to my daughter about ponies and about school. And then they let the dog out. The dog ran towards me and peed in the Persian carpet.
In front of the Queen?
In front of the Queen, of John Warren. And the Queen started laughing, and John got really red face, got really upset. And that moment, I got escorted out, said, "We got to have dinner now, you better go, Frankie." But the Queen was just creased laughing. She was so funny to be around.
She also had an amazing knowledge of horse racing. This wasn't someone who did it as like a little mild hobby. She
60 years.
She knew everything, right?
Yes, 6 years. Listen, it's incredible. She wrote till she was in the 90s around Windsor Park. And yeah, of course, she bred horses for 6 years.
You rode 50 winners for her?
Yeah, I rode over 50 winners, yeah, amazing.
Did it always feel a little bit extra special when you won a race for the Queen?
But look, when you got her colours in the peg like that, there was already excitement, and amazing. She's royal, I mean, she was racing. Her family started racing 300 years ago. King Charles I, 350 years ago. So racing is in her blood, and she had so much knowledge, and she loved that. She absolutely loved racing.
Didn't you used to occasionally try a Cockney accent with her?
She used to. I tried, but it didn't go very well. But
what was it you said to her?
"How are you?" But I said it.
What did she say?
She said to me, "I'm still here." Usually she just bow and say, "Your Majesty," but I kind of froze and I went, "How are you?" And she went, "I'm still here." But she was.
What would you talk about just generally when you saw her?
Everything. She liked to hear the gossip about the inside gossip. Who, which trainer I was going out with. All the juicy gossip.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, she was very interested about that, and she just loved to be around racing people.
When she died, it was a huge moment for the country.
Yeah.
You're a kind of anglicised Italian. You're Italian, but you've obviously spent a lot of time in England. What was that moment like for you? How did you hear that she died?
Well, I saw her, the last time I saw her was a Royal Ascot, and she obviously quite frail. She couldn't get up and down the stairs, and they made a little room next to the paddock so she could watch the racing. And to a point, I nearly took the horse inside the little booth to show the horse. And yeah, and you know, you always feel she's immortal. And when it does happen, it's a shock, you know, because I felt she was immortal. And I remember we were meant to race at Doncaster that night, and the race got cancelled, quite rightly so. Yeah, and it just...
How did you hear?
I think we just heard on the radio, I think, or from a phone call. And yeah, just...
I felt quite emotional when
Yeah, it just comes a shock, real shock. Like I said, because, you know, I always felt that she was immortal. And, you know, we lost a great person, great monarch. Well, a great person, and, you know, I'm the first one to say that I met her for 30 years. You know, she really touched me, the way she made you feel and the way she was. And, you know, I'm not the only one. I mean, I would say millions of people feel the same.
But actually, very few would have had the access you did.
Yeah.
Or that kind of relationship, because she loved horse racing almost as much as anything else in her life.
Yeah, you know, probably saw another other side of it. I mean, a lot of times I saw her in events, and she would make a detour to find somebody into racing because she kind of find that exciting. Yeah, I'm very lucky, and also the new king. You know, I was, you know, I never really met King Charles like I did this year. You know, he came to Royal Ascot 5 days straight, to a point on day 5, I was invited to have lunch at Windsor Castle on day 5, and I did the ride on the carriage, and he turned around to me and said, you know, my mum would have been proud to see me racing 5 days straight. So I think we got him interested in horse racing, and it's good because it's nice to keep the tradition, and especially now that we are in this jockey's room, I feel very proud that he's beginning to enjoy racing.